might be seeing a rock star there, but that's me. That's a couple of years back. So I thought it'll be very difficult to introduce. It's very difficult to introduce yourself. Being a modest man, I find it difficult to introduce myself to the audience. So I'll just use 3 words to introduce myself. And they are tall, dark, and handsome. So pun aside, I have been practicing supply chain for more than 30 years. I am an MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. And till recently, till I did the CPSM course, till I really went into depths, until I did my MBA, I never knew what is the importance of supply chain to company strategy per se. How supply chain drives company strategy. How important is supply chain? So let me show you something. This is not a religious picture. I will just tell you a little tale. So what is significant about Hanuman, who's the famous god in Hinduism, is he was all powerful. He had huge strength, mighty warrior, mighty strengths. But he did not know about his strengths. He was not aware about them. It took he was cursed that he will forget his strengths. It took Lord Rama to tell him about his strengths, and then he was unstoppable. So I am here, dear friends, to tell you about your strengths. Often, supply chain is the most neglected portion in India of a company. People take supply chain as procurement. People take they will simply do it on L1 and give it. They suspect you. Even logistics, they think is just we are truckers, nothing else. They do not value supply chain. Whereas I will show you in the coming slides how supply chain can make or break a business. How no business can survive without us. Now worldwide, globally, in the last 10 years, not before that, even globally before 10 years, supply chain was not appreciated. But today, globally, you see leaders. For example, Apple, one of the most valued company. We know who his CEO is, Tim Cook. He is a supply chain guy. He's the one responsible for making trains run on time. Part of Apple's success is due to supply chain. So what I will do is I will simply explain what is supply chain to me, how supply chain, what is strategy, how supply chain is driving companies' strategy and success. So this will give you a bigger picture of your importance. Hopefully, I will show you your strengths, your importance in the organization, and your future. Today, India has a very inefficient supply chain. Our worldwide supply chain cost is from 8 to 10% at the most. Germany is the best on supply chain. It's about 8%, 10% for US and China. In India, it is 14%. In future, if India has to progress, supply chain has to improve. It will come down to 8% in the future. We are targeting 10. But once supply chain cost comes down, cost to the end consumer goes down. It will make our exports competitive. It will raise demand, because once the supply chain cost go down, cost of goods will go down, demand will raise, productivity will go up, production will go up, jobs will go up, GDP will go up. That is the impact it is going to have. Government of India is working on it. We are having ports, we are having highway expansion, paperwork is being done away with. So a lot of things are happening. I mean, you would be surprised. The world's biggest port is Singapore. The whole Singapore economy is on a port. India has better ports, better coastline, better capability to build ports than Singapore, but we have not worked on it. We are working on it slowly but surely. Our highways, you know how they're expanding. And I will tell you what supply chain really is. So this is what I would like to say. So let me see what are the questions on chat. anyone? Okay, no questions, but please feel free to just talk to me one-on-one. I appreciate that sort of thing. It motivates me. So now we go to the next slide. Yeah. So as you can see, this is the famous Porter model on supply chain. Okay, this is Michael Porter is the guy who is a Harvard professor who started the discipline of strategy, business strategy. So this is one of the most famous model of value chain. He calls this value chain. This is what a firm actually does. Any company does this. So on top is the support activity. As you can see, HR, technology development, firm infrastructure, and procurement. In India, we think that supply chain is procurement. Procurement is a very small part of supply chain. So firms typically have inbound logistics where raw material comes in, raw material is procured, raw material comes into the factory or the operations. In operations, they are turned out into finished products. Then they move to outbound logistics for distribution, marketing and sales, and in service. All this requires supply chain. Till the end, you have returns. Any returns from consumer as in e-commerce or otherwise is also part of the supply chain. So we are very important for the firm. As you can see on the square rectangles down in the last bottom, everything is supply chain. Inbound, unless inbound logistics are there, there'll be no operation. Unless outbound logistics is there, there'll be no marketing and sales. Unless we have returns and customer service and after sales service, which is again part of supply chain, there will be no company, there'll be no value chain. So I would take supply chain as the complete value chain, procurement, logistics, and other strategy also. So now we come to the question which people use this term very, very freely, very common term, strategy. We will do this strategy, we will do that strategy. This is our business strategy. So very few people know what is strategy. So if you could use your chat box and just let me know what you think is strategy. Let's have a 5 minutes, think about it and write in the chat box what you think is strategy. Let's make it participatory because this is hardly something which will help you with the CPSM course material per se. So would someone like to tell me what is strategy? Someone? Amit? Sumit? Mr. Narayan Shah? Anyone who would like to tell me what is strategy? Yeah, Sumit says things to do with plan. Mayank says it's a long-term plan, consider all the business complexity. Yeah, I'm running ahead of time, so let's hear about from a consumer surplus decrease. Anu Matthew says strategy is ideas or initiative to implement work process. Good. Try something else. There are plans, and one thing is strategy plan, long-term planning. That's the most frequent this thing used. Profit maximization plan and future growth, which is sustainable. Well, there are companies which have CSR strategy. There are non-profits whose strategy is absolutely not profit. And if it was profit maximization, Amazon is, as of now, even now, not profitable. Facebook is not profitable per se. Overall, Uber is not profitable. Planned on the activities to align with company's goal. Okay, would someone like to have a shot? Another shot? 2 minutes more. It's 11. Long-term plan for effective working and risk mitigation. This I like. A strategy is a ploy aimed at achieving company objective. Okay. Anyone else? So I will now unveil what is strategy. Let's hope you are clear about what is strategy before the end of the session. So strategy is not operational effectiveness. You are the lowest cost producer of a good. It is not strategy. You are the most efficient producer of a thing. That is not strategy. You can produce and send a stuff across the world in ultra fast. That is not strategy. You have the best warehouse. That is not strategy. So operational effectiveness is not strategy. Strategy is. So Michael Porter has written an article on strategy. I would recommend it's available on Harvard Business Review. There are books on strategy. I would recommend all of you as future managers, because you guys have a bright future ahead. Supply chain has a bright future. So you guys should read it, because you are the future leaders of supply chain. So Michael Porter article on strategy, please read. But I have read the complete article. I have discussed it, thought about it. And there is one definition which my professor taught me, which is perfectly effective for all this, and that is strategy is deliberately closing options. Think about this. Strategy is the art of closing doors. Strategy is knowing what not to do. You can choose any three. Strategy is deliberately closing option. You could choose to be a Starbucks and charge 200 rupees for a coffee, or you could choose to be a coffee in McDonald's, Georgia coffee, for 20 rupees. That is a call. You could be the cheapest car, a Nano, or you could be BMW. BMW doesn't make Nano. It has closed that option. Starbucks has closed the option of a cheaper coffee. Am I clear? Apple has closed the option of a lowest cost phone. That market, it is closed to itself. It is deliberately closed option. Tesla has closed the option of making internal combustion engines. Can somebody say any company which is strategic, and then we can talk about it? So even in your life, you have to have a strategy. You have to close options. You guys are in supply chain, so you have closed the option of being in any other function right now. You have to, even in supply chain, let us take any example. I would appreciate if somebody could on chat name a company and we can discuss its strategy, which is a strategic company. Of course, some companies don't have strategy. They think they have strategy. But let's discuss any company you would like. And let's discuss its strategy. Name a company. Anyone? Amit? Manohar? Dinesh? Arindam? Anyone? Okay, let's discuss any company which we want to discuss its strategy. Tata
So,
is
candidates are putting in,
yeah,
chat box, Amazon, Tata.
Amazon, Tata, good. Few more companies. Okay, let's discuss Amazon. Amazon, I'll just discuss Amazon and then we can think. Amazon, if you look at Amazon operations, Amazon is not a company into retail business. You will be surprised to know. I will consider, and most of the people, business analysts, consider Amazon to be a supply chain company. Amazon is a company which works on supply chain. It is starting its own airlines. It has its own logistics, airline cargo planes it owns to transport things. It is a disruption platform. Amazon does not bother about profits. Did you know that Amazon for the first 10 years of its operation didn't make any money? Amazon per se still does not make any profits. Who make profit is Amazon Web Solution. So very interesting thing. So what happened was Amazon was not making money, nothing. So they had a Black Friday sale, which is after Thanksgiving in the US, and its servers crashed. So when its servers crashed, Amazon decided that in future Jeff Bezos decided it will not happen. So invested huge money and huge this thing to, we'll discuss MSC also. You can give me something. We'll discuss it. After this, Devashish, I'll discuss it. So let me complete. So Amazon put in huge money and started this servers, backend servers with huge capacity, so it will never crash. But they were not used. That cloud capacity was never used because Thanksgiving is only on one day in the year. So all that, they started hiring out and started making money. That's how they started making money. So Amazon's strategy is, look at Amazon from top to bottom. It always thinks long term. Amazon will never think short term, 5 years plus. It thinks long term. Amazon will concentrate on customer experience. It will try to, wow the customer. If you're a seller on Amazon and a customer has a complaint against it, customer is right. When it says, if you have a order anything on Amazon, it says I will deliver on so and so date, and it exceeds that and delivers it before. Under promise, over deliver. Pamper the customer. That is Amazon. And it has done another thing. Strategy is which is emerging is Ashwath Damodaran, who's a guru of finance. He calls Amazon a disruption platform. Anything Amazon goes into, you can be sure of one thing. It might not make money, but it will kill all other competitors in the industry. It went into retail. Before it came, just 10 years before it came, Walmart was in retail. It is finished. It went into books. Bookstores are finished. Now it is going into music, and I can bet you all the other streaming like Spotify and all will be finished. It is going into videos. Believe me, if I was an investor, I will short Netflix because I am sure Amazon will kill Netflix. It is a disruption platform. So now, since we are running out of time, one small example, we'll say, Devashish, let's discuss MSME, a restaurant or small manufacturing setup. Let's discuss that. So I'll give you an example of someone with a successful strategy from India, small restaurant, small setup, not very 150 crores. So I am very fond of ice cream, and in particular, I am fond of Naturals ice cream. This is a well-known brand in Bombay and South India, probably in North India, it is coming in. So if you look into Naturals clearly says we will make only natural products, but nowadays it is not using that term. When it started, it uses only natural product, natural ingredients. Of course, it's small stabilizers and all it uses, but fresh fruits, fresh milk, and everything will be natural. The taste is different. You can taste it and feel the difference. There are flavors which are available only in one particular season. It is not available 24 hours. Pricing, if you look at its price, it is not cheap. It is almost double the price of a competitor like Amul or Vadilal or anyone else. So what is its strategy? Its strategy was, we will make fresh ingredients only. We will have a niche we will cater to. We will not be a low price player and compete in the low price market. We will compete in a boutique goods. We will be different. We will have our ice cream in a store anywhere in India within 24 hours because it's a fresh ice cream. It initially gave franchisees, now it has company owned stores to capture the company experience. If you go to a natural outlet, there is very few space to sit. You just buy and go out. Its stores are in prime locations. Retails where footfall is very high, so which will have high rental. Try to get a naturals franchisee, they are not giving it anymore. Then they are not selling it, they are not taking private equity funds, they are not growing. They will grow slowly and organic growth with their own capital. That is natural strategy. So think about it. Strategy is deliberately closing options. Even in your life, you have to have a strategy. Think of your life as a gas stove with 4 burners. One is health, one is family, one is profession, and one is friends. Only those guys are successful who do not have more than 2 burners. You can concentrate on family and health. You could concentrate on family and profession, or health and friends. Only then you will be successful. If you concentrate on all 4, you will not be successful. So you have to close option out of these 4 also. Think about it. We'll discuss it next time. So now we go to the next slide. Yeah. So today I am going to discuss strategy with concept of strategy with supply chain and how supply chain strategy is actually driving business strategy. So I will take just 2 examples. One is Benetton. You must have heard of the brand. It's an Italian brand. And second, I will discuss about another clothing brand which you might have heard of, Zara. How their supply chain strategy actually impacts their business strategy, the whole business per se, their success in business, and how it drives it. So you will understand how designing a supply chain strategy can actually make or mar a company. How a company will win on supply chain strategy. So if you could all look at this picture, these are all ads of Benetton which I pulled off Google. So just have a look at all this and write in the chat box what you see from this. What is the brand that they are trying? What is the thing they are trying to portray? What is the brand trying to talk about? Just look at this and write in the chat box. Let's have 5 minutes for this. Please write. I'll just read your response. Look at these ads. This is Benetton. This is a crux of what its market wants to do for the market, what it produces. Just have a look and let me know what to see here. Arindam, brand for all age. Have you ever seen in these ads? Do you see an old man? There is no old man. Yes, please take a guess. Brand for all, ethnicity, color, pretty close, Mukul. Pretty close. Yes, it is there. Clothing for all over the world. Yeah, it syncs in with what Mukul says. Products to attract to. Very, very good, Narayan. It is all youth. Yes, correct. Let's have 2 more minutes. Think, look at the clothes. Majority of them. Let's see who can observe. Beautiful, Manohar, attractive, bright color clothing. Color choice for this age group. Excellent. Excellent. So this is one thing again, which I believe in life. I never started like this, but now I believe that a group is better than an individual when it comes to making decision. Group decision is anyway. For example, we all got together and we got it. Let's see what we got. Attractive, bright color clothing. Absolutely right, Manohar. All these are attractive, bright colors. Product to attract youth. Yes, it is for youth. And brand for all ethnicity colors. So I will tell you what it is actually. Benetton is making bright colored knitwear. Woolen, majority of its product is bright colored knitwear for the youth. Youth like colors. So this is going to be bright colored knitwear for the youth. That is its what it wants to be. That is its strategy for the consumer. All these are sweaters, knitwear. So you will be surprised to know that Benetton is the largest wool consumer in the world. So let's talk about Benetton now. So in the end, I will just ask you one thing, that when we finish this talk, last 15 minutes, just before that, give me a thumbs up or write wow if you see the wow in the supply chain strategy of these two companies, and how that supply chain strategy is driving business strategy and the choices they make, the options they close. So we will discuss this in the last 15 minutes, 5 minutes. I might try to close before that. So as we said, Benetton is the largest consumer of wool in the world. 60% of its product is knitted woolen, and it concentrates on youth and colors. So Benetton was set up by an Italian family. It was set up because their father had died. The eldest member of the family was just 10 years old, and he wanted to take care of his brothers and sisters. So slowly they got together, started it in Italy. Now it is expanding all over the world. It is the largest. It works still basically a European brand. They are not cracked market, but they are growing very fast. 60% of its product is knitted woolen crumb, and they concentrate on youth and colors. So how Benetton works is that they have decentralized operations. All manufacturing is done through subcontractors, and also people call agents called groupers. So groupers get a couple of subcontractors together. It is across the world decentralized operations. Sweaters, cashmere sweaters are born and made in Scotland. Certain products are made in Italy. So it is produced everywhere. So now what Benetton does is, Benetton is like, it concentrates on colors. So what it does is, instead, now they don't know which colors will be in the range. So as they say, when they get advance orders, whichever color they want. So what they start manufacturing garments, 6 months in advance, they start manufacturing garments of a season, and they manufacturing garments with gray garments. So what they have pioneered is, instead of making garments from the thread of a particular color, they make a gray garment and then dye it in the color that they want, consumers want. This raises cost by 10%. So they make the gray garments and then dye it. Orders and production are taken 6 months in advance. Now, what Benetton does is, its distributors, they have agents who choose distributors on their behalf. These across the world, these agents, they will have locations. They can have 5-6 shops or stores in one location. There is no standardized design. They don't take any franchisee fees. Only thing is that shop owner or that store owner has to sell Benetton products, stock Benetton product. The store design is such that there is not much space for storage. All the goods are displayed in open for touching and feeling. What you typically want to do, that is your colors. You can advance, you can order production. The store owners can order production just 6 months in advance. They will not accept any orders after that. Very few orders they will accept for about 2 months in advance for any seasonal change they want. They design the clothes in what they think will sell, make it in gray, and then color it as per what they think, or what they 6 months in advance they think the store owners think will sell. Distribution is through agents. As I've said, many of these agents are also employees of Benetton. Many of the groupers who subcontract are also employees, so it's almost internal thing. They allow 80% markup on the cost price to the store owner. So if a cloth costs 100 rupees, a store owner can retail it for 180. That is the margin in Benetton. High margin. They will, if some clothes are unsold, they will not accept that clothes back. They expect that only 15% stock of current season should remain in stores a fortnight before the season end. So suppose September, October, the spring, summer season ends. So just they go that about a fortnight before the season ends, only 15% should be the stock of the current season. They want new season stock because it is latest fashion they want. So what they encourage store owners to mark down their clothes and sell it in sale in the end of the season. So if you like something in Benetton, and if you're not very particular about latest fashion trend, you should go in the end of the season sales and you will get it up to 80% cheaper. But these will be typically products which are not very fast moving, which not many people know. And another very important thing is it takes them minimum of 5 weeks after ordering to ship the product. So what are the strategic choices Benetton makes? Benetton makes the choice, it concentrates on youth. So it shuts out other markets for it, closes option. It concentrates on colors. Now, those of you familiar with Europe is a place where black, blue, gray are the rage. They are the latest cutting fashion. But this concentrates on colors. So it shuts the option for those things. It decentralizes operation, which brings in inefficiency, but also gives you cost benefit because subcontractors do not have to pay the full fees, the social security, and all that. They dye garments. They think what is going to sell, design accordingly, and dye garments rather than thread, giving cost. They somebody could please. They have advanced orders and production, so they give a flexibility of being latest in design. They have distribution through agents. They don't have their own stores. They give very high profit to the retailer because they will not take products back from him, and they make him take the risk of the excess inventory. That is a choice they make. They make less profits just because they give a high markup to that. And they will not have an agile supply chain. It'll take them, they will ship 5 weeks after order. So they will always be what they will design thinking of what the consumer might have. It could work, it might not work. And they will only take orders in advance. So this is the Benetton. It is a decentralized operation. Now we come to the next retailer. Many of you would have gone to a Zara shop, have bought Zara things. So Zara tagline is affordable fashion, fast fashion. Can you look at the stuff and see what difference it has with the other? Just go through the Zara ads on your PC. Zara is not only knitwear, it's everything, all sort of products. So we will talk about Zara strategy, about the entire value chain and supply chain. And out, Zara is incidentally the most profitable clothing brand across the world. Zara was set up by Manuel Ortega in Spain. He is the richest man in Spain. And I think in the top, easily among the top 20 richest person in the world. He started work on his factory with his mom. His mom used to stitch nightgown in a Spanish city, and he used to work with her when he was 10 years old. Then he slowly started his own brand, again a European brand. But what Zara and Benetton are poles apart in strategy. They have made different strategic choices, and that affects their profitability, their brand. So these are strategic choices about supply chain. So I'm talking just about supply chain and how it is driving the company's strategy and profitability. So Zara, what it does, it copies latest fashion. It adopts, designs, manufactures, distributes, and retail within 2 weeks of a fashion hitting ramp, of a catwalk. Their designers go all around the world and copy designs, plagiarize the designs. This is criticism of them. They have their own supply chain. Unlike Benetton, they have centralized operations. 90% of Zara products are made in their factory, in their regions, in Spain, in their own factories. 90%. Benetton decentralizes subcontract. These guys make their own stuff. Zara is also known as fast fashion. And why fast fashion? Also affordable fashion, because the same thing that will cost you a huge amount of money of Louis Vuitton or Givenchy or whatever, Zara will give you a copy at a cheaper price. So how does Zara supply chain work? How it's different from Benetton? Zara owns its own stores. These are company-owned stores. There are no retailers. Zara stores will be typically in very high footfall, expensive retail locations. They will design their own stores. Their stores will have a massive investment in IT and analytics. Zara production facility, 85% is only 15 to 25% product they make in advance commitment. 85% production facility is in reserve to make season adjustment as per the latest trend. So Zara will make 15 to 25% whatever advanced design they think will sell, put it in their stores and see what moves fast, what sells fast. They will deliberately understock. So suppose they see that a coat, what they call Sherpa jacket, which has fur here, it is selling advance. They think that, so it is selling advance and they've run out of stock. So they know that this is the product which will sell. So the store can make an order to the centralized production twice a week. And within 48 hours, they will have supply anywhere in the world. 48 hours to produce and a product to reach the store anywhere in the world. 24 hours in Europe. This is massive. So what do they is they deliberately understock. They see which designs are selling and then they manufacture it and sell it within 48 hours. So you have to ship frequently. They have additional supply chain, and there'll be higher customer visits. So consumer come to their shop again and again to buy that stuff if it has sold out, if they like that fashion. So that they will buy another discretionary products once they come there. And this will create an illusion of exclusivity. Something which is rare is more desired. Human psychology. Now, if you look at the stats, 85% they sell off their products on full price without sales. Have you ever been to a Zara sale? Very few sales and very few products which are useless products. Industry sells 60% of full price. Zara sells 85%. Unsold is less than 10 versus 17 to 20% of industry. Lean inventory. It's a very lean supply chain, very low cost, very few inventory, very less sales. Think of it, team, think of it, ladies and gentlemen. 48 hours. Anywhere in the world, you will reach a product. Anywhere in the world where Zara is there. 24 hours. And 48 hours, not only shipping, it includes time of manufacture. And that's why it's called fast fashion. Its profitability is huge. It is very profitable, and future is also very good, and it has fashionable rage in trend. You can see Benetton and Zara different choices. Benetton designs its own clothes in anticipation. Zara copies. Benetton does not own the supply chain. Zara owns the supply chain. Benetton had decentralized operations. Zara has centralized operation. Benetton production facility is booked before the season. Very spare capacity to make changes. Zara is opposite. Benetton overstocks. Zara understocks. Benetton ships only twice in a year, in a season. Zara ships twice in a week. So you can see different supply chain choices, different companies, different capabilities, different business strategies, and different profitabilities and margins. So this will tell you what supply chain strategy and business strategy is. So I think that's it. We'll go for a question and answers. I hope I'm not above time. Yeah, I'm not on time. So let's see.
So anyone having any question, please unmute yourself, and you can also raise your hand so I can unmute yourself and ask your question to speaker.
Hello.
Yeah, Manor.
Hi, sir. It's Manor.
Yeah.
So I'm working in a procurement department. Okay. So I need to know the elements of strategy. So as a procurement guy, I need some strategy to which align our business goal, company's business goal. So what are the main elements of strategy?
So somebody's phone is ringing. Could you please mute it? Yeah, Manohar. So as I said, let me give you I'll explain with examples. I said very simply, strategy is deliberately closing options. So in procurement, there are options. You can go with the L1. We source on the cheapest. There is also, you could go on Q1, the best quality. That is strategy. If you're the L1, you will compromise, kill the option of the best quality. If you go to the best quality, you are killing the option of lowest cost. There are other strategies also in supply chain. I'll give you an example in procurement. So procurement, as I said, procurement, never talk in terms of procurement. You are supply chain guys. So let me talk, but I'll focus on procurement. And as a strategy, how it gives you competitive advantage. You know, Apple has the latest phone. It was the first to bring touchscreen. It is the first to introduce a lot of features, and nobody is able to match it for a couple of months at least. That is the exclusivity. Apple chips are different. Android phones cannot match that. Touch screen is removed. Screens are different. Why? Apple just designs the product and then gets it manufactured in a factory with a subcontractor. And what it does it, in advance, it contracts the full capacity of the factory so that that factory can never manufacture for any other, especially Foxconn or something, right? That is a strategy. There is a choice it makes that one vendor will manufacture and buy its complete capacity in advance. It is the closing the option for flexibility, closing the option for cheaper manufacturing. So that is one strategy in procurement. If
Can and risk mitigation may be a part of a strategy? Because in current COVID scenario, every big company failed because of the disruption of supply chain, just like Dell or Apple itself, because they do not conclude the risk for one supplier, and they get in the shortage of chip.
So we come to that also. So in risk mitigation, what has happened is risk. There are events which are known as black swan events. Black swan, because if you look at it, it's a bell curve, right? Normal distribution curve of events. So black swan are events which have been described as typically which are not predictable, whose probability of occurring is very, very low, but which once occur have a disproportionate effect on the company or have a disproportion. For example, nobody could have anticipated that 9/11 will happen. It happened and it had a catastrophic effect worldwide. Probability of happening was very low. What is the probability? Before 9/11, if I asked you, what is the probability that someone will hijack planes, have hijacks 5 planes and fly them in buildings in US, and look what it had led to and effects. Even today we have, whether in financial market, whether in terrorism or geopolitics, these are black swans. Nobody can mitigate against black swans, but risk mitigations strategies are there. So that again, risk mitigation has a cost. You have to make that. So if Apple wants to risk mitigate, then it will have to make a strategic choice of having 2 suppliers and their complete facility tied up. This will entail cost. This will entail profitability. It will have to kill the option of profitability. It will have to kill the option of being optimum cost. So that is the risk mitigation. Have a mirror facility. That has a cost. For example, in personal finance, you can be in equities, 100% in equities, make a higher return, or you would like to mitigate the risk and make a sleep. So you will put 50% in PF and all. Have a lower return, but sleep well. That's a risk mitigation. Use close options. So anyone else? Let's hear from others. Manohar, I hope I've answered you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, anyone else would like to ask me a question?
Chat box.
Yeah, I'm just having one of the global leading supply chains like I can do that. It will take a lot of time about DHL and Expo Logistics. In fact, it will take one whole session and I will discuss the best in the business, which is Li and Fung. How many of you have heard of Li and Fung? We have heard 3PL, 4PL, but Li and Fung's is the next level. We will discuss that. So it will need one whole session for that. In fact, I would love to learn from
So
you.
we will in future we can conduct a webinar on that.
Yeah,
So you can, if you brief out the answer of Mr. Tunsei. So he's asking like, okay. So if you are brief out some in 2-3 lines, so you can answer it. Otherwise, we can,
So like I'll give it from perspective of strategy. So different companies have different strategies. For example, DHL, that I'll be premium, I will assure same day delivery or delivery within those many hours. Different companies, for example, let's see the Indian context. You have delivery, which says we have come up for e-commerce and we will work on e-commerce delivery. But I don't see any clear strategy on delivery. But there are companies like, for example, Grofers, which is now being rebranded as Blinkit. Grofers say we will deliver everything within 10 minutes. It is raising costs, it is compromising on margin, but it is differentiating itself from the others that it will supply in 10 minutes. So that is one strategy. So DHL will have could have a strategy that I will anywhere across the world, I will do it in 48 hours, but it will take a cost. You cannot be the lowest cost and the fastest. You cannot be fastest and have the lowest cost. So whatever is your value proposition. Li & Fung is a company in Hong Kong which does not care about the profit and all. It works on lowering the procurement cost of its consumers. Not only lowering the procurement cost, it will source across the world and tell them where they can get the cheapest and the best quality product manufactured and ship it from there for this thing. Li & Fung is the next. We have 4PL, Li & Fung is 5PL. It will tell companies like Benetton where you can source your buttons at the cheapest, where you can source your threads at the cheapest, and arrange it from there. And if another location comes up with a better quality, it will tell them, okay, now not this vendor, go to this vendor. It is an extension of the supply chain of the company. That is the Li & Fung strategy. But we'll have to go it in detail. Yeah, anyone else? Or if you could use what I have spoken, give me feedback on this and how it works in how you can think of your company's strategy in terms of this. Does your company have strategy or does it think it is strategy?